Well, Knicks fans finally got a dub. Knicks head into Brooklyn, took care of business, beat the Brooklyn Nets handedly, 113-100. But are we happy yet? And I actually have a question for all of you. Is it realistic enough now for Knicks fans to already start panicking? I'm your boy, the infamous one, Knickerbocker Ave, joined by the First Lady. This is Knicks and Ish. It's time to talk that ish.
Hit that intro.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives, I'm cleaning the ratchet up. Do it off from boom back to melody rap. Think I'll put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Bars having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it. Welcome to Reset. Fuck everybody on the front. When we stand on the finals, bring that same energy, nigga.
Yeah. It's time, folks. It's time to talk that Knicks and Ish. I'm the boy, the infamous one, like I said, Knickerbocker Avenue, joined by, as always, by the First Lady, Mrs. Knicks. Sorry, the energy's still not there right now. I mean, yeah, we got a W, but we're not really happy. Knicks took care of business, 113-100 in Brooklyn, live from the Barclays Center. But you know what? Let's do some quick business. Please be sure to hit that like, that comment, hit that subscribe button. Sharing is always caring. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us live each and every night, even when we want to go to sleep. Sometimes these games be kind of boring. Even in a win. I don't know. Be sure to continue to show your support, show your love, and if you haven't done so already, it's scrolling down at the bottom right now. The Knicks and Ish Shopify. Cop yourself some merch. We got some stuff. You got some hoodies. We got some cups. We got some glasses. We got some, some nice bodega. The big bodega shirt. We also got that Fire Brunson, and we got some new stuff coming in. Slowly but surely, but be sure to continue to show support, show your love for the fastest growing Knicks YouTube channel on YouTube right now. On the road to 1,000 likes and subscribers. Let's see who's right here. Look who's here. Stephen Kennedy. What's good, my brother? How you doing, darling? If Mrs. Knicks is the first lady, Darlene is clearly like 1A. Like, right? She's here all the time. It's like this woman doesn't sleep. She's like, oh, Knicks and Knicks, fuck sleep. And Big Daddy Pring, what's good, brother? How you doing? Aiden Sanchez, salute, my brother. Salute. Mrs.
Okay.
Knicks.
I don't even know who some of these people are. We definitely have.
But you know what? We appreciate each and every one of you. Be sure if you want your comment highlighted, hit us up with the super chat, $5 or more. We'll always get you on here on screen because we're going to try to limit the amount of comments we put up here. To be honest with you, I liked a lot of what I saw, especially from Karl Anthony Towns tonight. He did do a lot of the things that we've been asking from him. Be more of a inside out kind of player. Tonight, he definitely showed that. I mean, look at that. Look at those numbers: 37 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 2 blocks. He played like a center tonight. Definitely played like a center tonight on both sides of the floor. The captain. What do you expect? I mean, he doesn't surprise me anymore. This is what the captain does. But let's initial reaction. How you feeling, Mrs. Knicks?
I'm still not happy. I mean, this is a much inferior team than we are. And for most of the game, we let them stay in the game. This is not what championship contender teams do. You handle business from the start. And so, no, I'm not content with this win, not at all. I did, however, like you mentioned, like what I saw from Cat, the fact that he was super aggressive tonight. This is what we asked for. And I mean, if we have to call him out every single show for him to put up these performances, then that's what we're going to do. Because last time you did it, and last show, I think I did, 37 points. We needed every one of those points. But the fact that he didn't just shoot threes, he was 3 for 4. He only took 4 3-point shots. 3 for 4 from 3. Everything else was in the paint. He was manhandling them as he is supposed to, as he should do every single game. Handle them because they cannot hold you. But yeah, to me, that was the highlight of the game, was him playing in the paint. But I mean, other than that, Jalen does Jalen things like you mentioned. Josh was Josh all over the court. Mikal was Mikal. Although he struggled offensively, he stayed in the game mentally and did what we needed defensively. And so for him, I very rarely have bad things to say about Mikal because of the overall game that he brings. Tonight was absolutely about Cat. And so he needs to continue this and build off of this. Not many teams have big men that can stop him. One day he'll learn, I hope.
I think that's the key word, is that one day he will learn. If you assert yourself, assert your authority, assert your presence, you're going to get, key results. What I did like about Karl Anthony Towns tonight was that he didn't rely on the three. He took care of business, being a presence down low, being asserting his size, his strength, and everything else. And it'll be interesting to hear, what everyone else thinks, because, ladies and gentlemen, my brother from the Bleed Blue Show, you know him as Azul, I know him as Big Brother Steve. He has joined us here from somewhere in the world, because this man travels. You should see this man's passport. It's ridiculous. He's got more stamps than a freaking postage. I mean, it's crazy. But Steve, welcome to Knicks and Ish. How you doing? What'd you think about tonight?
Man, we all tired on here, man. I ain't gonna lie. What's up, Al? What's up, Anna?
What's up?
I'm exhausted, but we found the perfect opponent after this road skid. So this came on to support Knicks and Ish on this post game. So yeah, I mean, the Knicks needed Brooklyn more than anything because of who we've been playing and been struggling with. So we needed to get back on the winning side of things. So yeah, so can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have nothing much. I mean, tonight was pretty much to be expected, Av and Anna. So we needed a win, and we need to build back off of this. It seems like the injuries are just piling up. Or every time I look up, somebody's getting hurt. So I'm just laying right there. You know what I mean?
It's just, as much as you say it was to be expected with this team this season, almost nothing is expected, because the kind of performances they've been putting on against teams that, to me, are inferior teams, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I think
the Nets are the bottom of the bottom. I mean, they should get the number 1 pick. They should scrap the lottery. Brooklyn is struggling. If you don't beat Brooklyn, we might have to think about canceling the season. I'm okay. I'm exaggerating. Okay, that's a little harsh, but you get the point. You got.
No, it's not harsh.
It's not harsh. It's actually pretty true.
Happens.
It's pretty true, because considering the expectations that this team has, with the Eastern Conference being what it is, you don't have the Indiana Pacers, you don't have the Boston Celtics, you know what Orlando is. You know what Detroit can be. You know that Cleveland is not at 100%. You know Miami is not 100%. And you're going into these games, pulling out these kind of performances where, teams that you should, if not beat them, at least be competitive. And the Knicks have not been competitive. Can
I go back to that Orlando game?
Say that again?
Can I go back to that Orlando game from Saturday? I did watch that. That was a horrible refereed game. A horribly refereed game. I'm not really one of those people to get on the refs and all that. But how many times they went to the review? It was just a hot mess. It was a long game. The Shamit, with the shoulder, and then of course, not being not available. I don't even think Deuce played in that game. We were short OG and Anunoby at that point, so it was just a bad matchup at the time. Where if you had an OG and Anunoby to defend Franz Wagner, he doesn't go off like he did on Saturday. If you had a healthy OG, he slows them down. Like I could see Wagner getting maybe 23, 25, but not like it felt like he had 45 on Saturday, but he only had it felt like he could score anything he wanted to do. He did, and that's primarily because OG wasn't there.
Right.
So you need guys. The Knicks need their guys there. They need to be full steam ahead, like with the roster. Everybody's got to be available. And they got to start putting up these wins, man. We said it last week. This is a weird road trip. Technically, tonight was a road game, but we all know that's really a home game, per se. It's really weird. Because, the situation with the Knicks, Brooklyn, whatever. But, yeah, the Miami. Who are we? Was it Miami? I forgot the road game. We had Miami, Orlando. Oh, you went to Dallas. That's right. Oh, yeah, Anna, were you at that game in Dallas?
Of course I was.
And it made it close. Okay, I got to go back on your IG.
Yeah, they almost gave me a whole
I've been on social media. But I'm not panicking. It's just that they're banged up. But if you're going to get the injuries, get it out now and just go hard. Go full steam ahead when you get these guys back. I really believe when we're at full stream, nobody can fuck with us in these. I'm really tough on them. I really am, but I'm really optimistic if this thing breaks right as it should be. That's why the 60-win thing don't look good when I made that prediction, because maybe I'm putting too much faith in what could be when these things break right. So I didn't count for, we kind of lucked up with the injury bug last year when a lot of guys didn't have a long extended time of injuries, but now it's coming back to, the OG and Anunoby is kind of to be expected. Remember I said that in the summertime, like we got lucky last year. Now, we need everybody to have a chance. We need it. If we have everybody, we beat everybody. That's the point. That's the frustrating point.
That is absolutely true, because you have stated, and folks, if you haven't done so, you should follow me and the Bleed Blue Show on Twitter, on X. Wednesday nights we usually have a live spaces for about an hour and change. It's probably the most entertaining hour on spaces, because if you ever done spaces, when it's like Knicks talks, it can drag on sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours. We do an hour and we get as much information and we just talk about the game straight up. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to follow Steve Azul. Be sure to follow the Bleed Blue Show, because that is probably the most we provoke the original thought. We don't repeat the same nonsense. We just essentially just talk about the game and provoke that original thought. If you got a hot take, we love to hear it, but let's make it original. But you've been saying it. You've been saying it 100 billion times. Last year, we did luck out in terms of injuries. I think Brunson only missed a total of like 10 or 11 games last year. Josh Hart maybe missed 5. Karl Towns maybe missed about 5 or 6. OG missed 2 or 3, and the only person that was consistently out was Mitchell Robinson. Now this year he's on a minutes restriction, and now we got OG out. Deuce has missed games, for either for personal reasons or for illness. The captain went down for a couple of games for that ankle injury, and now Shamit's out. It's becoming a hard enough time to first of all field a full team, full squad against a tough opponent. And I think I've been stressing this out here on this platform. an opponent that does the same thing the Knicks are trying to do. They've been doing it, which is get up and down the floor, play tough nose defense, and try to to be aggressive on the ball and applying pressure. The Knicks are just now trying to do that under Coach Mike Brown. They've been pretty much a slow paced kind of offensive, half court offensive team. Now they're trying to get up and down the court, and it's kind of foreign to them as opposed to a team like an Orlando Magic, a team like a Dallas Mavericks, a team like the Miami Heat. It's kind of new for them too, but they kind of always been that way. They're just a well-run, well-coached team. But like a young team like Brooklyn, who has a lot of young guys who are very hungry, all trying to make a name for themselves, they're getting up and down the court, and they're they're hanging in there. So it's frustrating. And I think what Mrs. Knicks always says is like, yeah, we're not happy. I mean, we're happy we got the W. Don't get me wrong, but this is kind of to be expected. Can we start to become more diverse and more assertive with our dominance over this division and over this conference, considering the level of opponent? I mean, again, not expecting a victory each and every time, but at least be competitive.
I mean, the key to that, like we've been saying, is defense, right? And even today, although we beat Brooklyn, we still saw the same nonsense, right? The switching on the picks, the allowing them open 3-point shots, like the same nonsense. Luckily for us, they didn't have the manpower to beat us. But had they had manpower to beat us, they may have, because defensively we still sucked for the majority of the game. We picked it up at a certain point, but against great teams, by the time we get to that certain point, we'd have been blown out. So this is why we're not happy with this win, because we still see the same mistakes, the same defensive lapses game after game after game. And although offense, like I've been saying all season, when the shots are going down and our offense looks like it's flowing, it's all good. But when it doesn't, our defense looks even worse. And so, yes, offensively, we were okay today. Defensively, we still have work to do. And until we figure that part out, we're going to continue to lose games.
Abdul, any thoughts on that?
I'm gonna just say it like this. You guys are more hardcore with the Knicks as far as being on. I swear, I think you guys probably would have went to Orlando and put a bounty on Wendell Carter, purposely injuring Knicks players. Like then what's his name? Brunson stepped on.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yeah, Brunson stepped on Wendell Carter's foot in the first game, right? And then something happened again when another Knick got hurt. Wendell Carter's like just taking. It's like you guys have got to be like loan sharks for the Knicks fans. You might have to put some bodies out. You might have to take some of these NBA players out. But I'm not going to trip off tonight. There was a double-digit win. You kept the Brooklyn Nets to 100 points. So I'm not really tripping about tonight. They won by double digits, and I understand the frustration of the
13 points against the bottom of the barrel. We only won by 13 points.
No, but I'm not trying to be apologists. I'm looking at it as we needed a win. We got the win. Now, if it would have been like a 1-point win or a 3-point win, that's rough, man. I'd be with you, but to me, they were kind of toying with Brooklyn. Brooklyn wasn't really a threat tonight. But I'm with you on the defense. That has to prove. That might be an issue because the way they're playing ball now is more offensive focus, try to jack up threes. That's not what we've been doing the last 5 years under Thibodeau. I'm not trying to go down to, bring up Thibodeau and all that, but I understand the concerns because I'm more defensive minded. I like an open jump shot. I don't want to shoot 43s. So they got to be some sort of mix or blend. But I'm trying to be more patient when more guys get back. We get our main guys back, like OG Anunoby, to put on a Franz Wagner or somebody like that. Like the games or the outcomes will be different. Same thing with the Deuce McBride, who doesn't play in Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Like we're missing key guys in our rotation.
I think that is, that could be a good explanation as to why this team has been not performing. You're missing OG Anunoby, who's a huge component of the Knicks defense. In tonight's game, Mikal Bridges got into foul trouble early, so he had to get pulled for those 2 early fouls. And that can be, you can explain that a little bit, but then again, the Knicks are not a very good perimeter defensive team. They haven't been for a number of years, even under Thibodeau. So that remains to be, you can always add that as part of the argument. But I think what Mrs. Knicks is talking about is just overall defense, the team defense. When you're letting guys, just walk into the paint and giving them baselines, giving them free lanes, I think that's what, the kind of defense, that kind of effort, that kind of intensity is what's lacking. You saw a little bit of that tonight. So I'll rest my hat on that one for now.
I don't, because there were plenty of games that we were fully staffed and we saw this same bullshit.
No, the issue is they're trying to score 140, 150 points. So you having more possessions, you're going to take possessions off on defense. So you got to pick a poison. Do you want to play more defense? I prefer more defense. I would rather slow down the pace. I don't care about scoring 130, 140. I actually prefer stopping teams when you need key stops. I'm more like you guys. I'm 90s basketball. I believe in defense. So you can't play a brand of basketball scoring 140 points because naturally you're going to give up 110, 115 to even some of the weaker teams. So it's really more about the philosophy. Do you want to score more points? And if you score more points and you pick up the pace, then you're going to lack defense. That's just natural.
But I think the point is that if you just balance that out, I mean, okay, so if you're going to score 140, just, if you're going to increase the intensity on offense and put the emphasis on offense, there needs to be that same level of efficiency for 48 minutes on both sides of the floor. So let's bring in our beloved co-host, Mr. Kev Rodriguez. Kev, what are your thoughts on tonight's game? You're on mute.
Apologize, y'all. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Yo. Sorry, I'm late.
Life be life, bro.
I just think that honestly, this is a game that we should have won. We should have done what we did today against the bum ass Brooklyn Nets. We're a contending team. These are teams that we should be beating. We shouldn't have these problems like we've been having. I think they played a little better offensively today. I think they also played a little better defensively as well. I mean, I know Brooklyn, they got their young players. They were, doing their thing, hitting shots and stuff like that. But I feel like Karl Anthony Towns played the way we expected him to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was really aggressive, attacking the basket at will. Like Anna has said, play the ball through Cat, and I think they kind of like I think they heard her because they were going through him the most of the time, and I love to see this. I love to see this Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, even a couple of times he had a couple steals and was aggressive on a defensive end. He even stole the ball, tried to take it to the cup. It didn't work out well, but just his effort on that side of the court. We always preach defense, like the guy was saying earlier. I think they did a much better job of that in this game. And we just want them to continue to do it because I think that's what's really hurting the Knicks this year so far. It's defense. You know what I'm saying? Especially from the 3-point line. I mean, they got to do better.
Kev, how important is OG Anunoby? The fact that he's been out for for this sustainable amount of period. I mean, and no one really knows when he's coming back. I mean, they keep on saying he's like day to day, but how important is he to this team and the overall success? Because right now we've been talking about defense, and obviously he's the defensive anchor. He's the defensive glue. He's part of Wingstop 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it for him to get healthy, him to get back? And how soon do you think, once he does come back, does this team start to click and become that Eastern Conference contender that we all think he is?
So
Well,
just
okay,
to double back. So when the injury report initially came out, they say he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So he would be out anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. I don't know where day to day came from. But shit, this shit been feeling like he been going a month at this point.
I mean, we signed him. We signed him to obviously be that guy, to be the part of our future. What he brings on the defensive side is key to our team. Because he's the guy that always we put him on the best player on the other guy, and he's supposed to be the lockdown defender. I don't know if it's been that this year, but he's real important. You know what I'm saying? Especially the way he was playing offensively this year. I just think that his thing is health. As long as he stays healthy, we should be fine. But 2 to 4 weeks is it sounds like it's been a while already. You know what I mean? I don't know when we expect him to come back, but it'd be nice to have him back right now because
For
we need
sure.
him. We need him on a defensive end, man. We need him, man, because it hurts not having him out there. He's supposed to be that Wingstop guy with Mikal, and not having him out there kind of hurts.
No, it absolutely hurts. I feel like, we already have 2 liabilities on defense, right? We talking Cat, we talking Brunson. And Brunson, not for lack of effort, more because of his height. Cat, more lack of effort, depending on the game. So to only have Mikal there to help to try and mask it, being already 2 people down defensively is a hard task to ask any player. So having OG is crucial to this team, because then having both of them at least try and shield how bad defensively we are. I mean, he's crucial. We absolutely need him, and hopefully he comes back and doesn't skip a beat, to be honest.
Well, you can see that.
100%.
You can see that in Bridges' numbers. I mean, when OG is there, Bridges can play both sides of the ball, more or less freely, and his offensive numbers show that. Now that OG's out, he has to really pay mostly attention on the defensive end, because he has to be that anchor. And I'm sorry, as much as I love Josh Hart, he can't be that, that substitute. So look at look at what Bridges does do on the defensive end. I mean, in that clip alone, he's exerting so much energy, so much, so much effort, to just be that defensive stalwart on one side of the ball. And then when it comes down to, when the ball finally, gets in his hands, his shots are either flat, or he's in bad position, or, they're just not getting to him at all. So, I mean, OG, we need you bad, bro. We need you terribly.
And not for nothing, not for nothing. I'm sorry, bro. My bad. I let you go quick. Steve, my bad, Steve. I apologize. Even with OG out there, we were giving up a lot of points. So was his defense really a big, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you look at some of the games, especially I forget which game was it, against the Bulls, we gave up 135 points. He played in that game. If you look at in the beginning of the seasons, there was some games up there that I'm like, damn, we giving up a lot of points, even with Mikal and OG on the court.
And
Mitch. So
I think it goes back to like what Steve was saying. The Knicks have picked their poison. They much rather be the offensive minded team and try to outshoot, like you even said, Kev, last show, try to outshoot teams as opposed to try and stop teams. One major thing, Mikal is third in steals per game so far this season with 2.1 steals per game. That just shows how much focus he is defensively right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, remember last year, right? Around this time last year, and I went to the game in Salt Lake City, the Utah game. Remember, I called.
Oh my God, yeah.
We talked. So the whole point about the Bridges, because remember we were talking about Bridges at that point last year, and I was furious leaving that game in Utah because Bridges was struggling with his shot. Remember, it was the whole narrative, his changing his shot.
Right.
And so I think 300 a whole year later at this point now, I think Bridges is fine. So I give him his props defensively. He's like top 5 in the league right now as far as, jumping the lane, stealing the ball and like that. The whole thing is here's the question I have for all y'all. Do you like the pace? And my answer is no. I can't control that. I'm just a Knicks fan since 1988, 89. So I ride it with my team to the day I die. I don't like the pace of the Knicks because I don't think that's winning basketball when it comes to defensive stops in the playoffs. No different than when we talk about the Yankees. I hate home run or die. I'm a Yankee fan. I support the team. They choose to play home run or die, and they're going to fizzle out against elite starting pitching. So it's just a philosophy thing. So because the Knicks want to run up and down the court and score 135, 140 points like it's the ABA Denver Nuggets, I got to stick with that, but that's not the way I prefer to play. The whole thing we had with Thibodeau, they didn't play the bench. Mike Brown's playing the bench, but now he wants to have jack up 43s, run up and down the court. I don't necessarily like that. We just want to stretch our team, our roster, so we could be healthier going into the playoffs. But the ironic thing is now we're playing the bench. Now the guys are getting hurt. That's crazy.
And I don't know if y'all remember the last time we went and chose a switch offense. Remember we had Reggie Bullock and them, and we let them go, and then we brought in Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. That shit did not work out. So we defensively we were just trash. You know what I mean? And I think that's something kind of like, so far it seems like what's going on right now. We've been that offensive player, but defensively we just not as good as we used to as last year. You know what I'm saying? So far within the first 16 games, 16 is it? We played already?
Yeah.
16 games.
16 games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
16.
it's been a struggle. It's giving me those kind of vibes like, when we traded that, it kind of hurt us. Because, those guys were pretty good defenders. You know what I'm saying? And then when we did that, we was expecting Evan Fournier and Kemba to be this, like, and it just didn't work out. So
I think that,
I know it's early in the season still, but it's gonna be tough if we playing like this later on in the season.
I think the biggest thing that I think that most Knicks fans, including myself, would love to see more balance on, okay, so we were very slow on pace. You can pick it up a little bit, as not so much that we're, that becomes our whole identity. But I think that if you just pick up the pace a little bit, but you keep that defensive identity, then the Knicks are unstoppable. But if you trade one for the other, and Kev, I'm glad you brought up the year we got Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker in, because that's a perfect example of the team trying to improve upon the offense by sacrificing the defense. Makes no sense, because you still, yes, you can, it's still the most points wins the basketball game, but part of having the most points when the final buzzer goes off is being able to stop the opponent from doing that as well, because they have the same goal in mind. And basketball is a game of attrition. It's a game of heart, and it's a game of grit. The team that wants it more is going to end up with it. So I don't know. I don't, to answer your question, Steve, I don't like I'm not a big, proponent on pace. I mean, could they have been quicker? Absolutely. It would have been nice, especially when, when they're running fast breaks or they're on the open court. But in the for most of it, I mean, I would like to see some toughness. I would like to for them to have maintained a lot of that New York style mentality and that commitment to defense and show your grit, because you're absolutely right. In the playoffs, it's not always. I mean, yes, it helps. Teams like Indiana or Oklahoma City, who do get up and down the court and do score 137 to 145 a night. They'll probably be the ones that be at the end in June, but at the same time, you have to be able to stop and show that, and show that aggression, that that intensity on the defensive end. So, the Knicks right now, throughout the first 16 games, have not shown us that because of this doctrine of shooting 43s a night. I don't see what the point is if you're still shooting under 30% every night. What's the point? I can jack up shots, but as long as they don't go, it doesn't matter. I don't know, why are we doing that?
Mm-hmm. What about you, Anna? What you like the pace? You want to slow it down to play defense? Like, how do you look at it?
No, I mean, I don't like the pace. I've said it show after show after show. This spray three offense is trash.
Basura.
To me, it's not New York basketball. Like you said, you're a 90s fan. I'm a 90s fan. We all 90s fans. We're known for defense. We're known for grit. And, taking that away from this team is not a good idea. It doesn't look good on fans like us. And I understand why the coach has done it, right? This is the new age of basketball. Everyone thinks they're Steph Curry. But at the end of the day, if you look at what won us games last season in the playoffs, it was not the offense. It was absolutely the defense, right? Mikal had 2 huge stops.
Mm-hmm.
We defensively played well against Boston. I mean, yes, it looks good. You're putting up 143 points, but you're also giving up 120, 130 every night. 100 points to a trash-ass Brooklyn Nets team. I wish there could be a balance, right? Like, slow it down a little bit, play some more defense. The team has it in them. There was points of today's game where the defense looked on point. But again, it's been so fucking inconsistent game after game after game, even in the same game, because there was parts of today's game where you're like, okay, they're just open. They're just hitting all kind of open threes on us, the dude with the blonde dreads. And then there was points of the game where, we picked up on the defense. We need to pick it up. This needs to be our game every night. We have to play defense. We have to stop switching on picks, stick with our man, hustle through those picks. Because we have, again, 2 players that are considered defensive liabilities. The switching and the not communicating defensively is costing us points.
Mm-hmm. See, the lack of effort too.
That too.
Sometimes it be the lack of effort. Like sometimes it be Cat not picking up his guy when he needs to pick it up. You know what I mean? Like things like that is more what's going on. We for some reason, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe the pace, maybe that's too much I don't know. I can't understand it. I'm still trying to figure it out because, they leave guys so wide open sometimes that I'm like, gee, what happened? Whose man is this, and why does this continue to fucking happen? It drives me crazy.
Steven,
but
I hear what you're saying, Steven, but that's exactly what the Knicks are doing right now.
Right.
Living and dying by that 3.
But they won a championship doing that also. They won a championship just by shooting threes. Now, last year, we kind of like, we kind of fucked them up in the playoffs with that. But he's right. It seems like we're doing this, we're doing the same thing. Just shooting the 3. I don't think it works. I don't like the way Mike Brown is making this. I always feel like we should be attacking the basket putting pressure on the other defense, pick and roll, pick and pop, stuff like that. Too many threes for me is killing me. But they won a championship that way too. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what Mike Brown is trying to do, but I think sometimes just slash that number down to like maybe 30, 35. Maybe
Right.
that. But the 40 to the 40 and up threes, and then if you're not making them, that's you just continue to shoot. Y'all forget how talented y'all are in attacking the basket. I mean, I don't know. I time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, the
Everyone,
Boston thing. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, my bad.
just doing a quick program alert. Everybody, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. We do appreciate you. Be sure to continue to like, comment, and subscribe to Knicks and Ish. Hit the notification button so that way you get alerted every time the Knicks Dish comes on, and you can join in on the atmosphere. Obviously, we're doing something right. We still have our trolls, man. It's awesome still. I mean, I'm really starting to appreciate how much effort he's given us. These, over the last, when we win and when we lose. I mean, I'm starting to really appreciate it. It kind of keeps me awake. But
just when his team loses, he don't pull up though. Just when his team loses, he don't pull up. But
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not gonna cash app you, bro. I'm sorry. Moving along, it was kind of broached, ever since the last couple, while we're on this road stand, and like this morning, I'm going through X, and I know Steve hates this. Steve hates this with a fucking passion, the rumor mill, but apparently,
you can say it on Knicks of this show all day on the Bleed Blue show. I hate rumors, but if you want to rock out with the rumors, feel free. Knicks and this.
You know what it is? It's not so much the rumor, because I'm not even going to go address the specific one, because I've heard a couple of them. But the reality is that you can tell by the way that by our energy, by the fact that we're not super excited and happy. We're not talking about the ass tonight. None of that shit. Even though that's what happened, but the fan base is panicking. And
why?
Why do you think?
Well, we're not available. It'd be one thing if everybody was healthy and we're like going through these games like we are. We're kind of banged up a little bit, man. We got to cut some slack. Remember we had the conversation last year about how we don't beat the top tier opponents. Tibbs doesn't play the bench and all that. All that was true. But opening night, you beat Cleveland, you beat Boston that Friday night on Amazon Prime, whatever you want to call it. We did beat the top teams at the start of the schedule when we were fully healthy. When we're banged up, we got to go through the trials and tribulations of an 82-game schedule. Oh, this is one thing I wanted to say to Kev's point. And Kev was right about when Boston made all those threes and they won the championship. But it's not just making the threes for Boston when they won the championship a couple of seasons ago. Availability. They have a formula. They weren't ridiculed with injuries, right? Brown, Tatum, Pritchard, Hauser, Horford, White. That's 6 shooters. 7. That's 7 legit marksmen. And if you're available, you can stick to that system and then play the law of averages game, and it worked for them. But you got to be available too. You can't have that system and guys be out. And right now, our guys are out, and it looks kind of iffy game to game. Shaman has the shoulder injury, just like he did in the preseason game last year versus the Wizards. So you're down a guy in your rotation. Deuce is in and out for personal reasons. And listen, Deuce's game stepped up from last year. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but to me, he's playing very well. He has a little bounce in his step, but he missed the game the other day. And that's a guy you kind of count on to get to where you're trying to win the game night to night. So I'm not panicking at all because of our availability. Like I said, when the Knicks are at full strength, we'll smoke these teams. We will smoke these teams. We just got to be available. Mitch is playing games. Remember, Mitch wasn't even there most of the season last year, and we still won like 50-something games. Mm-hmm. And I'm not panicking at all because I think we are the best team when we're healthy. But that's the question. That's the whole thing we've been talking about all summer. Are we going to be healthy? Because we kind of got lucky last year. We just didn't play our bench and all that. We had other things we were complaining about, and rightfully so. But this year's different set of challenges, shooting up these threes, the pace and all that. I think it could correct itself once we get our availability back. I'm not worried about that at all. I think we're the best team in the East still.
I think the 10-6 record is what gets me a little bit finicky. I'm not panicking at all. I am just upset because I do not like what I see on a nightly basis. Because I think I posed the question to everyone in the last show, and I'm going to ask it to you now since I have you here. 16 games in, what's the difference between what Mike Brown is doing right now and what Mike D'Antoni did a few years ago?
We did 20 back in what, 2010?
10 or 11, right up to the point where he requested to have Melo traded and he got fired for it.
Okay, so that was the Raymond Felton team. That was Stoudemire.
Right. Even the Duhon team.
I mean, Chris Duhon. This team is better than that team, though. That team is this version of the Knicks is definitely better than that team in 2010 before everybody got traded for Melo and we sacrificed. Mike Brown wants to. He kind of he's under the Steve Kerr coaching tree, so he's sat on the bench with Steve Kerr all those years with Golden State. So everybody's not Steph Curry. Everybody's not a prime Klay Thompson. I mean, these are two of the best shooters in the history of the league. So it's kind of hard to apply that level of accurate shooting that those guys were doing in Golden State in their heyday in the mid 2010s when they were, getting 4 championships or whatever it was and a couple of finals appearances, lost the one to the Cleveland. They could have had 5 if it wasn't for the Kyrie Irving 3 in Game 7, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, philosophy. I mean, it's kind of the same, to be honest with you, but I think our roster is definitely better than that roster from 15 years ago.
Well, that's obvious. I mean, those teams were barely scratching playoff contention year in and year out, and this team right now, as even fully constructed, fully healthy, and with all them hitting on all gears, they're a championship contending team. Mm-hmm. That's obvious. However, the question is that what's the difference between Mike Brown and Mike D'Antoni in terms of offensive philosophy and commitment to defense? And they're almost identical.
I agree. I would agree with that. And similar, I agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
Because the philosophy D'Antoni tried to emphasize so much was to get the air out of the ball, score in 7 seconds or less on the shot clock. That way, that'll keep the defense, the opposition on their heels. They're too tired, to get back on the floor on the other end. Unfortunately, we never had the personnel to make that work. It wasn't until D'Antoni's final year when he finally got Stoudemire, when he got Raymond Felton, and he had Danilo Gallinari, he had Wilson Chandler, he had guys, who you had Timothy Mozgov, you had a deep bench at that point that can probably sustain that and stay competitive, for 48 minutes. But that team was slightly above 500, if not 500 exactly, up to the point they made the huge trade to get Carmelo Anthony here. So when I look at that and I was like, so we're going to try the D'Antoni method again. And I remember that method was not sustainable because everyone here and everyone in the chat and everyone who's going to watch this on the playback, everyone will know sometimes you don't have it offensively. Sometimes you have to kind of create shots and create opportunities, and you have to, do that with your defense. And if you're not doing that defensively, you're not going to be able to compete in this league, even with some of the middle of the road teams, like the Chicago Bulls, like, the Dallas Mavericks right now, they're banged up, but fully healthy. They're a middle of the road Western Conference team.
The Magic.
The Magic are slightly, they're on the upper echelon on the middle of the road team because they're still up and coming. And once they get Ben Carroll back and they're at full strength, I think that they're going to be
even better.
They're going to be they're a surefire, top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. It's just, and then I'm still waiting for the shoe to fall for Detroit. It doesn't look like it's going to drop anytime soon because
And Toronto too.
and Toronto. So when you look, and then I mean, well, all due respect, Miami's still no fucking slouch either. But they already put a hurting on us 2 out of the 3 games that we played them, and even without Tyler Hero, it's crazy. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah.
Question about that. We haven't talked. Kev, I want to ask you and the same question. I noticed in that second Miami game, you watched the home court of the Miami Heat. They had it written in cursive. Didn't it hurt your hearts with reading Kaseya Center, the arena of the Miami Heat, and it says Pat Riley Court written in cursive on the basketball court, meaning Pat Riley was in the hands of the Knicks. What could have been the Knicks had Riley stayed in the Knicks organization? How many championships do you think we could have gotten or obtained? But he went to Miami, and the rest of his history, 30 years, and he's got his name written on the court. Miami Heat. That really pissed me off, man. I ain't gonna lie, man.
I mean, listen, man. When it comes to Pat Riley, I mean, he's been successful in Miami. He's been able to get guys to go over there and play. We haven't been able to do that. This is just starting to happen for us now. Since Leon Rose got here, because before that, I think New York was like a place where don't go over there and play, bro. It's not a good look. It was like, but I think that if Pat Riley would have stayed with us, I think it would have been completely different. I think all them years that we suffered would have probably been completely different. Because look what he did to the Heat, man. I mean, and still to this day, every time you think the Heat is a nothing, they come out of nowhere and they run in the league. Just a few years ago with Jimmy Butler, they went to the finals as an 8th seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you think, listen, and then you think, no, it does, and then you think, they lost Jimmy Butler. That's it. It's over for Miami. Boom. Here we go. Back at it again. They still they coming up, and now they got the league by storm. You thinking they're not gonna be good, and then they come out of nowhere, and it's like, but So I think if Pat Riley was running his team throughout that year, we would have had some success. We probably would have seen a few championships. Because if he was here, who knows? LeBron would have been a Knick. LeBron probably would have been a Knick. LeBron would have been a Knick. A lot of players would have been Knicks if Pat Riley was in New York. And plus, when Pat Riley was in New York, let's be real. we had guys scrapping. Guys was not coming down the basket in New York City. Guys was getting killed. We played physical when Pat Riley was on this team. Stupid physical. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, shout out to Pat Riley. I know Knicks fans get mad because but you gotta tip your hat to Pat the Rat.
Look,
I mean, to me, it's a little iffy because yes, we see what he's done in Miami, but realistically, no one has been able to shut Dolan up until this front office. So there's no saying that if he would have stayed with the Knicks, Dolan wouldn't have been as active as he was, causing all the mayhem that he has all these years.
It was because of Dolan he left.
It's because of Dolan he left.
He left because of Dolan.
Ever since then, we was in turmoil. Ever since he left, the Knicks was straight cock-a-doodle.
Okay, except for Jeff Van Gundy. That was the only thing.
That's it.
That's
for a 5-year stretch, right? I mean, he stayed with the team. Like
he wasn't giving us Pat Riley vibes. Let's be honest here. When Pat Riley was on this team, New York was a team that you didn't want to fuck with.
I will say this about Pat Riley. I do blame him for Game 7, leaving John Starks out there in '94.
Yeah.
But when he left, it did break my heart a lot. And I really think that had been able to stay and he would gotten everything that he wanted, because he wanted control of the team. He wanted to be, and the Garden was in turmoil because Dolan was coming in, and they still had Dave Checketts, they still have Ernie Grunfeld, they still had they still had to appease Patrick Ewing. They needed to continue that that whole thing. When he left, it really broke my heart, and I thought that that was pretty much when the curse really started to begin, because we call it the curse of Patrick Ewing's, but it's really the curse of Pat Riley.
Right.
And
right.
I commend him. But let's be realistic. He did get lucky. He got lucky that he was able to draft Dwayne Wade. He got lucky that he was able to get the trade for Shaq at right off the Lakers. And then it wasn't luck that he got LeBron. It was pure finesse. It was pure finesse. It was Pat Riley being Pat Riley, and that's how they were able to build the Heatles at that point and win the 2 titles that they did before straight NBA Finals appearances. But that's neither here nor there.
He's been running that team since.
Yeah, and he still is.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've talked to a few Miami fans, and some of them are asking the question: is Pat Riley's time done? I don't think it is. Until this team completely shits the bed, I don't see that team moving on from Pat Riley until the point that comes where he really wants to let go. Yeah, I remember that too, when Van Gundy was clinging onto Morning's leg.
Yeah, I remember that.
But to get back to the to the topic at hand, are Knicks fans panicking too soon? A little bit. But we knew that was going to happen. We knew that the trade machine was going to start being fired up, and rumors are going to be developed. I don't like the names that they're coming up with. I'm not going to mention them because I really don't care. But I think that Steve is absolutely right. We're only 16 games in. As our boy Live would always say, you don't really make the first assessment till you hit the 20-game mark. We're not there yet. We still have about another week of that before we can really take a full assessment of this team. And even then, Steve hits it on the head again. The reality is that we are banged up. We are down OG Anunoby. We are down Landry Shamet. Deuce McBride has missed some games. Mitchell Robinson's on a minutes restriction. The captain's been has been in and out. Even though he doesn't seem like he's lost a step since he's been back. And Karl Anthony Towns, although great game tonight, I need to see this more consistently. So tonight you can sleep easy, Cat. I'm not going to pick on you. Neither is anyone here. But I think that if we see this more consistently from him, the rest of the team will follow suit, because if the ball is going through Cat and he's he's really taking advantage of his height, his size, and his ability, and the fact that he is a scoring threat from the outside, and start driving the lane and becoming that beast, the team will start to pick up and actually start winning more ball games and winning them in decisive fashion. Right tonight, even though it was decisive, it didn't feel like it was decisive. It didn't feel like the Knicks dominated. It just looked like the Knicks hung on. And
that is true, though. No, but you're right, though. There were the games that that is the frustrating part, where allowing teams to come back in the games. Like, we were up 20-25. We should smoke these teams. That is true. Even in the Cleveland game, the Boston game, the Memphis game, those come to mind where we were up big. We should have. I prefer to smoke teams by 40, 45, but they kind of allow these teams to linger around. So that is a little bit of an issue. But I'll pose the question back to you guys. Going back to opening night, like, I think that was a big win, beating Cleveland, because it's to say, okay, we can beat the top tier teams when we're fully available. So Cleveland's in that list for sure. Detroit, everybody else, like I said, Orlando is a situation where if we're hurt or certain guys are hurt, they can expose us, because they have guys that they have long defenders. Like, Suggs is a very good defender, and you saw him giving Jalen Brunson problems in 2 games, right? You got guys like Anthony Black. He's a very underrated wing guy. He he could D up on Jalen Brunson because of his height and his length. You saw a couple of steals in the game in Orlando. But when you have an OG Anunoby, it slows down the what's his name, Franz Wagner's. See, Franz Wagner, he's a guy like he's gonna light you up in an underrated way. He's a very underrated player, and I think a lot of people take him for granted. There's a reason why he got that max contract from Orlando.
But it's a concern too, because even with OG on the floor versus the Magic, they still smoked us. You know what I mean? So, I think the fan base is just concerned because of what is expected this year. Championship is a championship season. We supposed to, so by them playing the way they're playing on the defensive end, I think that's the biggest concern for most of these fans, because honestly, without defense wins championships. You know what I'm saying? And if we're not this elite defending team, it's gonna be hard for us to beat, the Magics, the Pistons, who right now to me is gonna be one of the toughest teams to beat in the Eastern Conference. Because they're playing at a high level right now. Do we have what it takes to beat those guys when it matters most? Because come crunch time, we need to pick it up on defense, man, and we haven't been doing that. It's like we'll play, let's say, really good defense for the last 3 minutes of a game, or a quarter here or a quarter there, but we're not playing 4-quarter defense. You know what I mean? We got to play full, like the whole entire game, and we just haven't been doing that at all this season. At all. Even in the games that we've won. Our defense has been trash. Like, you completely, and I've been saying it all season long, we cannot compete. We cannot win these games just trying to outscore the other team.
Right.
It's gonna have to be a time where the Knicks be like, yo, it's time to fucking pick it up on a defensive end, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you, I've been saying this since the beginning. If this happens where we have to score 100, it's not gonna be sustainable, and we will not be able to win a championship if this continues to happen. Because this defense that we're playing right now is just it's not gonna cut it, bro. This isn't gonna win us a championship at all.
Facts. I mean, to go back to the question, I don't feel like Knicks fans are absolutely panicking. I'm not to that point where it's like trade someone. I'm to the point where it's like they need to figure this shit out. Because I truly, in my heart of hearts, feel like we have the team. We have the team. Are they being used correctly? No, I don't think so. But that's just little old me, the female fan that just watches, not a coach. I don't know. But I did say last show, Cat is the main part of this offense. You run the offense through Cat, it makes everyone's job easier, and it happened tonight. They ran the offense through Cat in the paint, opened up shooters. JB's job was easier. Granted, we were against a team that's trash, but you got to build somewhere, right? My issue, and the reason I'm concerned, is because, like Kev said, we've lost being fully manned, but that Dallas game did it for me. It took me to my edge, to my point where I'm like, yeah, this ain't gonna cut it. Because going down to the last 3 seconds of a severely undermanned team where we should have blown their ass out, and the effort that we saw on that court was just not okay. It was not okay. It was bad for y'all to see on TV. It was terrible in person. And if we continue to see stints like that, we're going to lose more games than we're going to win. And this is going to be the season that we all regret. And I just feel like we're too talented to go out like this. So no, I'm not in panic mode as far as bringing in players, trading pieces. I think we have the manpower. He's right. But we need to
somebody else argue that? No one can argue that.
We need to see consistent play night in and night out, regardless of who our opponent is. We can't play down to guys. We shouldn't matter who's on the court on their end. We need to be coming out like we're the Knicks and having teams, throwing the white towel in the third quarter because we bust their ass so bad. You know what I mean? We need to put fear in these teams, and we have yet to do that yet. We've had our little stints of, our little win streaks and all that, but all that's at home, right? We suck on the fucking road. Brooklyn don't count. That shit is New York. That's a home game. We have sucked on the fucking road. And the only way to win a championship is to win playoff games on the fucking road.
And I think it's crazy because last year was the complete opposite. We played well on the road and we struggled to win at home. It's crazy.
Right.
What's the difference between last year and this year? What did we do different? It's the same fucking team, other than Jordan.
It's the offense.
It's the coach.
Well, you brought up D'Antoni, right?
Yeah.
Like, Adam, you brought up D'Antoni, right? Think about it. D'Antoni's knock was lack of defense, right? That's the obvious. But think about it. Those mid-2000s, those mid-2000s Phoenix Suns team, they ran up and down all day through the regular season. Nash got 2 MVPs, and they're outscoring teams. Sean Marion, a prime. That's the other thing I wanted to say about Stoudemire. We didn't get a prime Stoudemire. He was shot at that point. We already knew that, and that was a gamble.
They had a risk.
Sean Marion. Exactly, and it bit us in the ass. Sean Marion, who else is on that team? Nash. Oh damn! The fast. They had a whole bunch of fast dudes, but when they got to the playoffs, it didn't translate, and then they got screwed with that. The San Antonio Spurs game. I think Mike Brown was on that staff, if I'm not mistaken, when he was an assistant to Popovich. But anyway. The point I'm saying about that is you got to slow down the pace. We have to slow down the pace and play defense. And if we do that with our guys back, we're going to hit our stride. We're going to win games. I'm not worried about it. But the word panic, it all depends on what you mean by panic. Do you mean panic is we're not going to win the championship? Or do you mean panic we're not going to make the playoffs? What do you mean by panic?
No, they say panic like we see those stupid ass trades for Anthony Davis and Cat and
that's panic. That's panic though. That's panicking right there. I mean, listen, I think that when it comes to the trades, right? If anything is gonna happen, is gonna be a bench like to try to add to the bench. I think the Knicks are going 100% all in with the 5 that we got with OG, with Cat, Mikal. I think they 100% stand with those guys. If they make a move, it's gonna be a bench move. I don't think they doing anything to the starting 5. But are we really surprised? Are we really surprised?
Every season.
Are we really surprised about this panic? I'm not. I'm not surprised at
toxic,
all,
bro. You already know how it is.
I'm not.
Toxic as shit.
Listen, man. I'm not even tuned in no more. And I know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like I've been tuned out.
But would it be panic if we have this record right now with everybody there? Then I would be leaning panic. Like, this is not right.
Yeah,
if everybody was healthy and we have the same record and still struggling on the road, I'm gonna be patient, man. It's an 82. It's a marathon, man. And then if you're gonna be hurt early in the year. let guys develop,
Yeah.
like the Koliks and whoever comes off the bench, stretch your
Now,
rotation. That was the whole point of bringing in Mike Brown, right? I mean, you wanted to play your
listen,
bench.
listen though. I want to shout out Tyler Kolek, man. For staying ready. Okay, like most people just all right, I'm not getting no playing time. I asked for a trade. I don't want to be here no more, or whatever the case is. And the kid is still playing with effort, still doing his best out there. He can take it into the cup a few times. I like that. I would like to see him getting more playing time, man. Like Mike Brown, man. Or give the kid a chance, bro. He's a playmaker. The kid obviously could play make. We need to take some pressure off of Jalen Brunson. Give the kid some minutes, man. I keep saying it, man. He's a great boy. He got vision on the court. Vision.
I had to tell
Utilize the
Av, he didn't
vision.
want to listen.
Utilize the vision. Utilize the youth. You want
Av,
pace. You want
Av, how many times
pace.
I've been trying to tell
He's
y'all about
pace.
Kolik, man, since day one.
He's pace, bro. He's pace. He's gonna bring up the pace. I love Tyler, bro. I love Tyler on the court, man. I was watching him today, and I'm smiling. I'm
Anything,
smiling.
anything.
It was joy to me. It brought joy to my life. I'm sitting I'm like, my man Tyler, let's go, baby. This is what I want to see. Why can't we, Mike Brown? Listen, if you are watching, please give my man some burn, bro. Give my man
Every
some
good thing
burn,
I
bro.
know about Tyler Kolek, every good thing I've ever said about Tyler Kolek on this platform, I learned from Steve because I didn't know shit about him. And then he told me, look up Tyler Kolek, Big East Player of the Year, look up this video. And I'm like, okay, he kind of nice. Then he gets to the
Av,
NBA, didn't get the playing time under Tibbs. And then I saw a couple of his performances in G League, and I'm like, okay, Tibbs needs to play him. And that was during the Play the Kids, month or month and a half. They were saying that shit. And the few times that he came on, he looked a little lost, but he had potential. He definitely had potential. Then Summer League came this past Summer League. And I was like, he has to show up. He had that one good game, I think, or maybe two good games. And then he started the season being the backup point guard, and all of a sudden he disappeared for whatever reason. Mike Brown just didn't play him. And now with injuries, all around the team, and
he's like
Deuce,
forced to play him.
he's forced to play him, and it's paying dividends. So, on that note, my final thought is Tyler Kolek has earned at the very least, to be penciled in as the backup point guard going forward, at least for the next 5 games. And I mean, considering what the schedule looks like going forward, we just defeated Brooklyn. Wednesday night, we're heading into Charlotte to take on the Hornets. Friday night, we're home against the Milwaukee Bucks. Sunday night, we host the Toronto Raptors. Right before Tuesday night, we head into Boston to take on the Celtics, and then return right back home to take on the Hornets again, this time at Madison Square Garden. And then we have 2 more games after that at home against Utah and Orlando. So for your final thoughts, Steve, prediction on that on the upcoming schedule.
Oh man, who's available? Who's available? No, let me just stop bullshit.
The team that we have right
I'm
now.
not paying. I mean, it's not gonna be easy. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Like, you gotta weather through the storm. You're just gonna have to get a couple of wins here. You might have to take an L there if you're gonna have the same roster versus those teams that you said coming up. About what you said about Tyler Kohler, like I said, he's a floor general, man. There's a pedigree as a point guard in the Big East. Jalen Brunson, obviously a Big East Player of the Year. Tyler Kolek. He's a more than capable backup point guard in the NBA. So there was never no doubt in my mind about that. And just be patient, man. This is our year as long as we get guys healthy, available. Now that we're seeing the Mike Brown system develop the way it is, let's tune it down, Mike Brown. Let's slow down this pace, because this 130, 140 points. Looks good on certain nights, but that's not really what we need to be. We need to slow down the pace so we can lock in defensively versus the best opponents in the Eastern Conference. And if we do that, we get to the finals. It's that simple. We blue. Shout out to you, Knicks and this. Thanks for having me, Anna, Kev, Ab. I love watching y'all shows. When I watch the replays, you know what I'm saying? Y'all doing a great job. I had to pull up, you know what I'm saying, as far as talking.
Appreciate
You know
for
how I do.
pulling up,
Ab and
Steve.
Anna.
Appreciate
no
you,
doubt,
boss.
man.
Anybody?
sure.
I think it was
if
the
you haven't
first
done
time.
so
I
already,
think it was the first time I spoken to you on this.
if you haven't
Oh,
done so
it's like
already,
I watch a lot of Knicks
Show.
and this on the replay. So yeah, so it's like I listen to y'all, but you're right. I haven't came up and talked. So I said I'm gonna come up and talk. But we'll be fine, guys. You just got to get healthy and slow down the pace. Get the 50 wins. I don't think we're gonna make 60 no more. I didn't, because of the pace shit. But it is what it is. So I'm fine, man. Panic, nah, we good.
Folks, if you haven't done so already, the Bleed Blue Show on X is it's not just Knicks, it's KGYR Nation, Knicks, Giants, Yankees, Rangers, and it's not just the big four. You can actually hit up Steve
At least
almost
we ain't the Giants. At least the Knicks ain't the Giants.
Yo,
He'll
man, you know,
sit there and debate you and talk to you and chop it up with you on almost every sport. It doesn't matter. It could be college football, college basketball. You'll talk about boxing, UFC, WWE. It doesn't matter. No holds barred. So you haven't done so. The Bleed Blue Show on X and of course on the other platforms. If you have, for all full transparency, that's where I came from. That's kind of where I grew into this whole thing. Is learning from the master, Steve Azul. Thank you so much for joining us.
Ooh, bro.
As always, Mrs. Nix, your final thoughts, please.
We better win. Just keep winning.
yo,
I'm kind of
right.
like Dory from Nemo. Just keep swimming. No, just keep winning. Whatever it takes to win, we need to win games. I need to see effort defensively and offensively. I need the offense to run through Cat. I need him to keep pounding the paint, make teams submit. And that's what needs to happen every game for the rest of the season, not just these next 5, for the rest of the season. But I will leave with this video since we just played the Nets. I will say, Nick Clarkson, it's been 12 games, bruh.
The Knicks Nets ratio of people like, what's up with my blank when you're in New York? Probably like 99% Knicks.
It's 50-1 Knicks versus Nets. Meeting a Nets fan, even in New York, is only slightly more common than meeting like a Magic fan in New York. It's that bad.
Yep.
Well,
we
no
run the
shit.
city always.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn. No, I'm not gonna do that again.
It's fucked up. Damn.
Kev, your final
Damn.
thought, please.
Listen, just play defense, man. Simple. It's
Facts.
simple. You win. Yeah, you play defense, you win games. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? And as long as we do that, we'll be fine. I'm not gonna take the Hornets lightly. You got a mad Mello over there playing. Brandon Miller just come back from an injury. Don't sleep on them. And then you got Milwaukee and Toronto next after that, and those two teams are playing pretty well. So I just want our guys to play defense. Simple. Just play defense. We win games. That's it for me.
Tabernacle. Church.
That is the Tabernacle. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Nixon Ish. We thank you so very much for joining us tonight. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, even you, Tom. Be sure to hit that like. Be sure to comment. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bar icon at all times. Make sure that you get all the notifications whenever Nixon Ish comes on board. Thank you so very much again. We will be back here on Wednesday night when the New York Knicks head down to Charlotte, North Carolina to take on the Hornets. And
MSG 3.
Yeah, essentially. Or MSG South. It's definitely
South.
that MSG South, because between them and Atlanta, it's kind of a toss-up because the Knicks fans just really
don't forget about the Florida. Don't forget about Florida. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not allowed
but
to
anything
talk
south
about
of
right now
anything south of New York.
Florida. But anyway, for Steve Azul, for Kev Rodriguez, for the First Lady, Mrs. Knicks, I'm your boy, the infamous one, Knickerbocker Ave, saying thank you very much. Keep on talking your shit. Keep on talking that ish, that Nixon ish. And please, someone say the words.
Hit that outro.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it all from boom back to melody rap. If they gon' put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Bars having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it.